Hello, everyone. My name is Reese. I am a full-time practicing criminal defense attorney here in South Texas. I'm also an amateur day trader and investor. I own a number of stocks and dividend-paying ETFs on Robinhood. I also day trade micro ES futures, and I like to talk about the market in general. Guys, in this video, we're going to do a book review and my thoughts on The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hougaard. As you can see, I do own it on Audible, and I've listened to it many times. Before we do that, guys, I want to give you a quick disclaimer. Futures trading or any trading at all involves substantial risk of loss, including your initial capital, if not more. Trading and investing is not suitable for everyone. Please make sure not to invest or trade in funds that you cannot afford to lose. Everything comes with risk. Okay, guys. Also, I have a feeling that Tom Hougaard, whether it's on X or on YouTube, might watch this video. If you feel like there's anything here that goes into any issues of copyright or anything like that, please let me know and I will talk with you or just take it down. I have a lot of respect for Tom Hougaard. I think he's a really excellent educator and teacher. Most of this review is going to be pretty positive. But with that being said, if there's any sort of copyright or any issues like that, please let me know. This video is not intended as a copyright infringement. I am doing a review and trying to make the video as transformative as possible. Okay, guys, with that being said, if you are on X or you are on YouTube, guys, if you are on X, please make sure to follow, like, and comment and repost this video. If you are on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All engagement is really useful. Okay, guys, with that being said, we are first going to talk about who is Tom Hougaard, what is The Best Loser Wins, and should you buy this book or should you not buy this book? And if you are going to buy this book, should you buy it on Audible or should you get the paperback? I also own the paperback version. Okay, guys. So Tom Hougaard is a relatively famous sort of day trader. He's mentioned as an internet personality. I want to go ahead and show you his website. This is tradertom.com. He's a professional day trader. He's very big and active on Telegram. So I wonder if I can get to his Telegram. It's on the phone. Let's see. So, guys, Tom Hougaard is a professional day trader. He's Danish. He's from Denmark. He's pretty famous around the trading community. Unless you are completely under a rock, you probably know who this guy is. He's got an active YouTube channel. Let's go over to YouTube and let's see. Okay, guys. So you can see Trader Tom. He's got a lot of videos. I highly recommend watching his videos. Very active. His style of trading, if I would have to boil it down, is momentum. He's a momentum style trader. He's currently running a challenge on his Telegram where he's taken a small 10,000 pound account. I think he's up to 20,000 pounds now. He focuses a lot on psychology, discipline, and the emotions of trading. He's got a long trading background. I know that in his sort of biography, he talks about how he worked for different brokers. He's a big believer in what you would call emotional psychology and discipline and focusing on that. I would say that he's mostly a momentum trader. He's got a few different strategies that I don't really fully understand, but they're called school runs. You can learn more about his strategies, including his school run and aggressive school run, that I really need to do more research on. If you know more about the school run or if you have videos about school runs, please make sure to comment in below. Okay, guys, but with that being said, that gives you some background on him. I don't know how old he is. I think he's probably mid 50s or mid 40s if I had to take a wild guess. He's Danish. Okay, guys, so he wrote a book called The Best Loser Wins. It's a book about day trading. It's a book about psychology, and it's a book about why 90% of day traders fail, and why only 10% or less of day traders are successful. Before I get into my review, I want to give you an idea of what the AI thinks. All right, so I'm just going to show you here on the screen what Grok thinks about The Best Loser Wins, then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Tom Hougaard's The Best Loser Wins. Why Normal Thinking Never Wins the Trading Game offers a refreshing and unconventional take on trading success, focusing heavily on the psychological aspects rather than technical strategies or money management. As a high stakes day trader with a proven track record, turning $30,000 into over $1.3 million in a year, as he claims, Hougaard brings a credible voice to the table. His central thesis is compelling. To succeed in trading, you must think differently from the average person, embracing losses as a natural and even beneficial part of the process instead of fearing them. What stands out is his emphasis on, quote, mind management. Hougaard argues that most traders fail not because they lack technical knowledge, but because they don't grasp how the markets manipulate their emotions, fear, greed, and the urge to avoid pain. He's not wrong to highlight this. Trading is as much a mental game as it is a strategic one, and his personal anecdotes, like risking $3,500 per point when others stick to $10, illustrate the kind of mental resilience he's talking about. It's a mindset that's out of reach for most, which is exactly his point. Normal thinking yields normal, read mediocre results. The book's strength lies in its practicality. It's not just theory. Hougaard provides actionable insights on rewiring your brain to handle discomfort and loss, drawing from his own journey of transforming from an ordinary trader to an exceptional one. Reviews often praise its readability and how it complements classics like Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, though some find it repetitive or overly anecdotal. Critics might argue it lacks hard evidence beyond his personal experience, and there's a fair question about whether his success owes more to luck or skill. After all, even he mentions a friend who lost big due to, quote, bad luck. I think it's a valuable read for traders willing to confront their psychological weaknesses head on. It won't hand you a foolproof system, but it might shift how you approach to the chaos of the markets. That said, it's not for beginners expecting a step-by-step guide. It's more of a mindset overhaul for those already in the game. If you're skeptical of self-help vibes or want concrete data over stories, it might not fully satisfy. But for inspiration and a push to rethink failure, it's got that in spades. What's your take? Do you trade or are you just curious about his perspective? So I think it's a pretty good overview. I want to get into now what I think are some of the pros and cons. I also want to talk about where you can purchase The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hougaard. So some of the pros, if we head over to the book itself, here's the book cover, Why Normal Thinking Never Wins in the Trading Game. Guys, he's going to really, I think this book really hits deeply and effectively on how successful traders must be willing to accept losses. Um, you've got to be willing to take a lot of losses. Frankly, sometimes you're going to take losses repeatedly. I think that it gives an important insight into that. So I think that's a big pro about the book. Some of the cons to The Best Loser Wins, I think that he could go a little bit more in depth about, his actual strategy. There's definitely charts in the book. So when you buy I can't show too much of this for copyright reasons, but when you buy The Best Loser Wins on Audible, you are going to it is going to come with charts and figures, basically showing where he entered, where he exited. I would describe Tom as how would I describe him? I would describe Tom as a momentum trader. I would describe him as someone who's gearing you towards trying to hold on to your winners for as long as possible. Some of the things that Tom talks about, which are really the reverse of what your common, some of the main highlights that I want to get into. Number one, um, when you enter into a winning trade, rather than what most people do, the which is to close out their winning trade. Tom talks about adding to a winning trade. So you're turning certain things on their head. For example, ICT or Michael Huddleston talks a lot about taking partial profits. I will tell you that Tom Hougaard does not believe in taking partial profits. The Tom Hougaard system is a momentum, trend following system, in my opinion, where you are number one, you never add to losing trades. So if your trade is in red, and I follow a lot of the rules that Tom lays out. Number one, if your trade is in the red, you should not be adding to a losing trade. Number two, if your trade is in the green, if your trade is winning, you should be considering adding to a winning trade. Number three, all trades must have a stop loss. I think for many of you, you know where the stop loss needs to go. Don't move the stop loss. But number four, he doesn't really trail his stops. He goes for these large winners, which are not always going to appear in the market. So one of the cons, I guess, or one of the drawbacks of the best loser wins, in my opinion, I'm trying to be fair here, is I don't think that Tom Hougaard's system works really well in trading ranges or choppy market environments because Tom talks about, especially if you have a small account, um, how you need to hold on to your winners, how you need to try and set those stops to break even and let your trade run. So I don't think that when you have a choppy market that Tom Hougaard's advice is going to work that well. Um, but if you, and he talks about trend days in the book, and he talks about how they're not going to happen all the time, and that's fine. He doesn't talk a lot about. There's some things about trading that I think he could get into that he doesn't talk about a ton. Number one, um, there are certain emotional triggers that are going to cause you to be in tilt or cause you to make mistakes. Number one being a lack of sleep. Number two, alcohol, drugs, your emotions, those things. If you go into the marketplace, I don't know how much he really covers that in the book, but that goes into it. Number two, I think that there could be more emphasis in the book on how getting into trading groups or listening to the advice of others, rather than listening to your own experience, how that could potentially be detrimental. I think that the modern day trader is typically between uh, about 26 years old and 40 years old and is a male. And if you're anything like me, you probably watch a lot of content, a lot of videos, and do a lot of reading, and you're probably susceptible to the influence of others. So, to a certain extent, I think that you need to learn that you've got to do this on your own, basically. Um, I think there could be some more talk about that. From a technical perspective, he's got some strategies on his Telegram, like the school run, the aggressive school run, that I still don't really understand, but I think they could be explained in the book. I don't know when he wrote this book exactly. It's not that old, but I think he could have written out his strategies on the book in the book. Um, I do think that the book is a little bit more anecdotal than what I would want it to be. That's a very small nitpick, but some of the anecdotes I don't think are super, informative. Also, this is a very small nitpick, but I am in the United States. I'm an American. I cannot trade contracts for difference or CFDs. Um, I do think that his book, ever so slightly, is geared towards Europeans. I do. I think because I trade on the U.S. regulated futures market, I think that his book is just 1% or 2% geared towards a European audience than an American audience. It's very small, but I did want to mention that. Um, with that being said, the basic premise of the book is you've got to be willing to take your losses, and the majority of the reason why you're failing as a trader or why you haven't made the kind of money that you need to make is a lack of discipline. Um, it's avoiding pain. That's the biggest message in the book, which is 100% correct, which is the reason why you haven't succeeded in your day trading, but you want to succeed in your day trading is at some point you've got to have 100% adherence to your system. You've got to make a system and you've got to be willing to take losses. You're going to take losses, and sometimes, just based on the law of large numbers, it's inevitable you are going to run into streaks of losses. I think that Tom's system is trying to catch large market moves. He's definitely trying to get those larger swings rather than that intraday choppy trading. So I don't think that Tom in the book really talks about, well, how do you handle a choppy market? A lot of his examples talk about how if he talks about a stock that was named Marconi, and Marconi went down and down and down, and eventually it went bankrupt. Plenty of examples of that, and generally the market does swing, and it has trends, but you also get choppy in market environments. And I kind of wish that Tom would go more in depth into choppy markets or trading range markets and how he deals with those. Maybe when he expects the market to be choppy or when he's recognizing that the market is choppy, like how does he deal with that? Does he just not trade at all when the market is choppy? So I think he could delve more into trending or trading range markets, but that's a small nitpick. Guys, if you are in the United States, you can find The Best Loser Wins on Amazon. You can find it on in Barnes and Noble. I have the Audible version. You can also get it on paperback. It's also been translated into a number of different languages. I highly recommend it. Overall, my I would highly recommend it. I would say that the pros of the book are it's going to wire how you think about trading and how it's not like your other professions. You've got to get used to losing. You've got to get used to losing repeatedly. You've got to realize that you've got to get used to taking that pain. You can't let pain stand in the way. You've got to be disciplined, and you've got to be disciplined 100% of the time. It's the discipline, it's the mindset. It's not necessarily the strategy that's going to get you there to the promised land. It's just the discipline, and however you get that discipline, that's how you have to do it. So I think that The Best Loser Wins is a good way of rewiring your brain to think about taking losses and taking repeated losses and recognizing when you are trying to avoid pain, when you are emotional. I think it's a great psychology book. Um, I think that on the con side, I think it's slightly more geared towards a European audience than an American audience, ever so slightly, not by much. Um, I think that he could more thoroughly describe his school run strategies or describe them at all in the book. Because I know he uses those school run strategies. I kind of wish he would have included them in the book. I also I think the book was slightly more anecdotal than I would have wanted it. That's a small nitpick. Again, I kind of agree with the AI on that. Um, I also think that there could have been a section psychologically on the influence of others and how, you balance your own thoughts and your own experience versus the influence of others. I think that could have been in the book. And that's basically it. Um, I think The Best Loser Wins is a fantastic read. It's something that you should absolutely get on Audible, Barnes and Noble, or Amazon. Get it in paperback, get it in the Audible, get it in the Audible form. It's a great read, and you should absolutely read it. Guys, this has been Our Trades on X and on YouTube with another video. In this video, I reviewed and discussed Tom Hougaard's The Best Loser Wins, and I hope you enjoy, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, repost, all that good stuff. And remember your Apex Trader Funding affiliate link.